Another big thing you can arm yourself with is a zero trust cybersecurity model. It should be the new normal for everyone. Now, what is zero trust? It follows this mantra of never trust, always verify. Old school way was trust but verify. And it assumes there's a breach, and I use this analogy a lot. Imagine that your business is a castle, the old way. Anyone remember back in the days where I just had a firewall and Norton antivirus and life was good? That's all I need. Those days are gone. But that's old school, perimeter focus. So if you take the castle analogy, it's your moat. Make sure it's got alligators in it, and then you got a drawbridge. That might be your firewall. Let's make sure that we're keeping that updated. Old school, new way, zero trust assumes the bad guys are already in the castle. So anytime they leave a room and try to get in another room, you're verifying everything. It follows a framework where the 5 pieces that we verify with zero trust is you verify the user, they are who they say they are, verify the devices that they're using, you're verifying the programs that they can use, the applications they're using, and then you're verifying the data that they can get to, and then the network itself. So it's like a 5-pillared framework with zero trust. Great news for ComTech clients. If you're using CyberArmor, you're already getting this. So here's an overview of our CyberArmor offering. And again, this is the big guardian tactic for zero trust cybersecurity bundle. Some of the highlights are, yes, it's zero trust. There is 24/7 monitoring through a piece called the SOC, which is a Security Operations Center. Ransomware detection and isolation, hopefully none of you have, but if you've ever had to deal with ransomware, it tends to infect everybody on the network. With this tool in place through CyberArmor, if something were able to get through all the protections we have in place, and someone launched ransomware on their machine, it would be isolated to that one computer. So now we're just cleaning up one computer and not a whole office full. So it really minimizes the disruption when you think of how bad it could have been. So a great point, a great feature there. Application controls, the best way to describe that is, imagine you are going to a website you visit all the time, it's legit, but that website got compromised and malware was installed on it. And then every time you come to visit it, or the next people to come visit it, it's trying to install that malicious code on their computer. Well, those are unknown executables trying to run on your machine. Application controls keeps them from running. So we only allow approved programs to run. So in that case, it would have prevented the attack. I have an interesting story real quick. There was a business that was targeted, and they had all this, great cybersecurity stuff going on, or decent cybersecurity. So the hackers couldn't get in, but they were so determined they were going to attack this business. Doing a little work, looking online, they noticed that a lot of the employees liked to frequent this Chinese restaurant that was across the street. So what they did was they compromised the Chinese restaurant's menu page and installed malware, because they know these employees over here order a lot and they're always looking. And that was their way in, was through that malware-infected Chinese restaurant menu on the website. Application controls would have stopped that. Ring fencing is another one here. That's just making sure programs can play or stay within the sandbox they're supposed to. Best example of that is like a Word or Excel document. Those Microsoft applications can have, they have scripts and macros and all that. So they can have malicious code injected into them. So if a Word document opens and there's a code in there trying to run a PowerShell script or sniff around your network and do things like that a Word document shouldn't really be doing, this kind of keeps it under control and says, no, we're not going to allow you to go out and do that. The SIM, which is a security information and event management piece, that's logging. So anytime there's activity on your network, which there's constantly activity, all of that stuff's logged. And so there's thousands per hour. It's virtually impossible for a human to look at all that stuff. So this is where some of those AI tools come in. It's looking for patterns in those log files, detecting anomalies, and it sees something, could be threatening or malicious. It alerts people who then take a closer look and then take action. Again, the point there is to act quickly. Password manager. You should have a unique password for every site you visit on the internet, and that sounds like a giant chore. Well, the solution there is to use a password manager. So we provide Password Boss as part of the Cyber Armor suite. Then you just need to remember one password, and you can be following that rule with the rest of your passwords around the website. And then employee cybersecurity training. Who's getting our weekly micro trainings? Awesome. How about the phishing email tests? Yeah, those are great. So that is our most important tool, becoming the guardians here, is that training, because it's going to keep you current on the latest threats. It's also just kind of, repetition. The more you see examples of these type of attacks like we just looked at, you're going to get into a mindset of cybersecurity awareness. So this is kind of special. The crystal plaque. So if you're a Cyber Armor user, you get this beautiful crystal plaque to display proudly in your office. Who's got theirs so far? Yeah, oh good, a bunch of hands up. This just lets the world know we take this seriously, lets your clients know if they walk in the door, hey, we're doing all we can within reason to protect your data. So it's something to be proud of, and it's something that gives your clients and your, the people that you're serving a peace of mind, and your employees too, because you're also holding their data as well. So we're providing this as well as a window cling you can put on the door when they come in. Lets people know, hey, we're taking this seriously. And then a badge for your website. So everybody got all that stuff now out there? Letting the world know, hey, we take this cybersecurity stuff seriously. More guardian tactics. I know we talked about the weekly micro training, but other trainings, which was mentioned earlier, our Cyber Hero Academy. So Ethan will come out and do an in-person training at your location. It's called the Cyber Hero Academy. It's a lot of fun. The people who's had it, anyone had Ethan come out yet? It's kind of new, so we're just getting it going. Let us know if you'd like this. We do it. It's on us. We'll come out and do this training for you people on site. If you don't have a place to host it, we've got other offices and space where we can do it and just have you guys come in. So take advantage of that. You're going to learn things, how to identify threats, the best security practices, how to protect your company, being safe on the internet and mobile devices, and much more. There's a business card on several cards on the tables. So take one of those, reach out to us if you want to schedule an in-person training, and then you'll be not only guardians, but cyber heroes as well. I think that comes with a certificate for everyone at the end too, so it's fun stuff. And it's useful, practical, and we try to make it a good time as well. Another important tool you need to implement as a guardian of your IT galaxy is multi-factor authentication. I'm not going to get into technical weeds about that, but what it is, it's using another device to verify you are who you say you are. If you remember that framework I mentioned, verifying the user is a piece of that. So MFA, in other words, multi-factor authentication, is a way to accomplish that. Everybody using MFA, at least for some of their things? Good. Another great guardian tactic, least privilege access. So this means people should only get to things they need to get to do their job. So if I'm in, say, shipping, probably don't need access to HR data, payroll data, confidential employee records, things like that. So it's a lot easier to do this if you make people role-based so that you can assign based on that role. Shipping guy only needs to see shipping things. That's all he needs to do his job. So least privilege access. And that's one of the important components of the zero trust model when we look at zero trust. Password manager, I just mentioned. Interesting fact though, 81% of password breaches were known passwords. Anyone want to guess what we mean by known passwords? Password. Dog's name. Or you can get real crafty and put an exclamation point on the end. And then when you're forced to change it, you can put the second exclamation point on the end and just keep going until you run out of exclamation points. Password manager, again, lets you be legit with actually cryptic passwords and having a unique one for every site you need one on. All right, social media. If you remember from our examples earlier with the villains attacking, a lot of that intel they gathered on social media. So be careful what you post on social media, and it's not on here, but for goodness sakes, don't post your vacation pictures while you're on the vacation, because it just tells everybody that's connected to you that you're not home and you're not at work. So you can be taken advantage of there. I know I've got like 1,200 Facebook friends, and if they all walked in, I'd actually maybe know 400 of them. I don't post things on social media unless I cook a really good-looking steak. Then I'll put it out there. Can't use that against me. So be careful what you share. Be careful if you receive requests for a connection with someone that you already have a connection with. So I have this friend of the family forever, Carol Patterson, bless her heart. I keep getting connection requests from Carol. I'm like, we're already Facebook friends. What's going on here? The hackers, they find people that have lots of friends. They take their picture, because it's easy to just lift their picture off the Facebook profile. They go set up another account as Carol Patterson, and they can see her friends. They just start sending them all friend requests again. So she's got several occurrences of this. So if you get that from someone, let them know so they can let Facebook know, and it'll have that account removed. And you can also report it as well. But it's just, if you think we're already friends, don't do it. And I know it's easy to do if you're distracted and busy, like Busy Becky. And any kind of request for immediate action. And that's one of the plays there with those duplicate social media accounts is I may have just been busy and connected with Carol for the third time. I might get a message from Carol saying, hey, I've had something horrible happen. Do you think you could help me out with a loan or whatever, asking for money? They eventually ask for money, right? So just be aware of that stuff. Okay, here's a quick test for you guys. We're talking about public Wi-Fi safety. So you walk into Black Bear Coffee Shop. Which of those available Wi-Fi connections is the real one, the legit one? Can you see? What would your first guess be? I would probably guess. So the real one, the answer is, it's whichever one is printed up on the sign at the cash register. Or you have to go up and ask, because the others could definitely be scammers trying to get you to connect to theirs so that they can intercept all the data that you're transmitting and do bad things based on the data that you're using. So if there's ever more than one, definitely ask, which one should I be using? An even better option is to, if you're coffee shop and you have to use your laptop, connect to your cell phone, just tether to your hotspot. Then you know whose connection you're using. It's yours. It's your mobile carrier's hotspot. So that's a better option there. Okay, this is one of my favorite drums to beat, cloud security. How many people rely heavily on a cloud-hosted application to conduct most of their business functions? A lot. And I'm so glad you're here. There's a misconception out there, not saying that it's in this room, but others I talk to that think, I don't need to worry about cybersecurity. All my stuff's in the cloud. It's their problem. And it's especially true with healthcare providers because their EMR, their patient records, all that stuff's in the cloud. It's not hosted locally. And there's a feeling that I don't need to worry about that. That's their problem. Could not be any more false. Even if you're heavily reliant on the cloud, you still need to protect your workstations locally because that's your entry point into the cloud. And if those machines get compromised, the hackers can now just get on the cloud as if they were you. Exfiltrate data, look at things they're not supposed to be looking at. So you're not off the hook just because you're in the cloud. All the same cybersecurity best practices still apply. All right, just some review here because you're going through this journey together, and this is like you're about to come out of the end of your training phase here. So just some reviews. Don't click attachments you're not expecting. Don't send confidential information over open email, meaning email that's not encrypted. And then always verify the email source. And that's part of what you get in our trainings too, is how to tell, is that a legitimate email that this message is coming from? And one of the easiest ways to do it is just hover over the email address or click it to see the actual address. And it should look like, the .com address that belongs to the person that you think it's coming from. So a lot of times if you see it's just weird, cryptic looking Gmail, it's user678@gmail.com, but they say it's Sally Smith, that's kind of a giveaway. Top threats, phishing again. I think we can't talk about that enough, but again, in the training, you'll be trained to identify these phishing attacks and recognize them when they come in. And the phishing tests that go out, if you've ever failed that, you click on it, you feel kind of icky, right? Remote worker endpoint security, like we just talked about. Internet of Things devices, just for all means, if you're going to stick them out there. If you can put them on a separate network, that's ideal, and definitely change the default passwords on those. Wi-Fi security, we just covered. Again, verify that network name with the people that run the place. Use your phone if you can. And if you can use a VPN, anyone using VPNs? Virtual private network. So that's like a secure pipe that rides on your connection so that everything you do is encrypted. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Like fake babies. Beware of urgency. There's this story I heard recently about an attorney that got a phone call from his son and the son said, "Dad, I've been in a wreck. There's a woman involved in the other car. I think she might be dead. She's on the way to the hospital now. The police want to haul me in because I've had a few drinks. I don't know what to do. I called my lawyer. He's about to board a plane, but he can post bail for me if you can just get him the payment information. And I'm going to hang up because he's getting ready to call you." So he hangs up, the phone rings, and it's this guy that says, "Yes, I'm an attorney. My plane boards in 8 minutes, but if you can just get me your checking information, I can take it over the phone and call this in before I hop on the plane, and then your son won't have to spend the night in jail." This is an attorney. He just took a moment to stop and said, wait a minute, time out. My son doesn't drink. It was a scam. Get a call from the son right after that. "Dad, I'm fine. I haven't been in a wreck. You're being scammed." Hang up the phone. So if you find that, oh my gosh, I'm trying to react in a panic mode because of what someone's telling me, take a moment and stop and think, could this be, is this legit? So that urgency is always in play in some of those attacks like that. So when in doubt, pick up the phone. That's the big takeaway, I think, from here. Okay, so we're transforming you into the ultimate guardian, which is the human firewall. everyone know what a firewall is? It's a piece of hardware that sits on your network. It's between you and the internet, the outside. So best way to think of it is it's a filter. Keeps the bad stuff out, lets the good stuff through. That's the simplest definition of a firewall I can think of. As the human firewall, you're kind of acting in that same capacity. Being aware, you're the first line of defense. So existing in a security conscious culture and, again, continuous training. So let's revisit those attacks. But now these targets have been trained up as cyber guardians and human firewalls. So let's revisit this one again. The social engineer. Remember Becky? She's been transformed from busy Becky, before and after picture, right? Now she's battle ready Becky. She's ready to do battle with these guys. So just a reminder, she was an HR manager at PeopleSoft. Her strength now is she's a trained up cybersecurity guardian. She's a human firewall. If we remember the recon on this attack before, she was posting about, hey, we just switched to ADP for payroll. The hacker's going to call her, posing as the payroll provider, and he's asking her for the checking account information. Now, what do you think Becky's going to do? Because she is battle-ready Becky now. She's got the training. She's a human firewall. What would you do as Becky in this situation? Say it louder. Let me call you back. Becky's going to call him back on a known good phone number. What's something else she could do? Exactly. I'm sorry, say it louder.
Tell me what number you have.
Right. Yes. Like you said the account number was wrong. What's the number you've got? Oh, I don't have a number. Or make up something that doesn't sound anything like it. So in this case, the attack failed. Social engineer was not successful because battle-ready Becky took a moment to think, picked up the phone. All right, that other attack, the manipulator. She was attacking. Gullible Greg has been transformed into Guardian Greg, before and after. I feel a lot better about Greg now in that second photo. I'm a lot more confident in him. So if you remember, he was brand new marketing coordinator. He's now a trained cybersecurity guardian, AKA human firewall. The way they were attacking Greg, if you remember, they learned that the CEO was out of town, getting ready to speak at a conference. They sent Greg an email posing as the CEO and said, hey, Greg, just give us your account because I don't have time to deal with IT to get to what I need to. What do you think Greg did now because he's human firewall? How did Greg stop this attack? What? Sorry? First of all, Greg knows I'm not giving my login out, even if it is the CEO, because we've got a policy now that we just don't share our logins with people. What's the number one thing? If it sounds urgent, hey, this guy's got to get into his presentation right now. Greg, contact IT, but I would say pick up the phone, call the CEO, call his mobile. I just got an email from someone saying they're you that wants my login. Are you able to get your stuff at the conference? And CEO at that point says, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm so happy for Guardian Greg because he was pitiful before. Attack failed. Give Greg a hand. Give Greg a hand. Our next attack, the impersonator, he was targeting cautious Carla, if you remember. She was the office manager, Skyline Ventures. She's now a trained up cybersecurity guardian and ultimate human firewall. The way the impersonator was attacking her, this was the office furniture one where she posted the picture. We're so happy with our new office furniture. And the attack method was, we're going to send an email in with a fake invoice attached, posing as the company. So they're sending this invoice in to Carla. So as a human firewall, and you're in Carla's position, what would you do here? Looks like an invoice from someone saying they're the furniture company. Verify the sender, and you'd learn that in training, how to verify email senders. Call a known good phone number. But there's one thing that we're not thinking about here. If they're trying to send malware in, and this is on the counter in the office, it's likely to never even land in her inbox. Those are all other, as well, great ideas and great things to do. So the impersonator attacking cautious Carla. The attack failed. Give Carla a hand. Give these guys a hand. Thank you. Good answers, great answers. The puppet master. This was the Internet of Things guy that exploits little devices put on the network, like the light switches and the light bulbs and the Alexa and the thermostat and all that. So oblivious Owen has been transformed into on guard Owen before and after there. I feel a lot better about Owen as well. He was a facilities manager. Now he's a trained up cybersecurity guardian. If you remember, he was a cybersecurity denier before. So we've converted him. He's a human firewall. The method of attack here, the scanning tools, they're just not going to find anything because he's got them all secure now. Give Owen a hand. He did a great job. Attack failed. Okay, this was the big ransomware attack, the Shadows Syndicate. And if you remember, the target there was Dave, distracted Dave. He's been transformed into Defender Dave, and he's much better looking as a result. You can see that. So he was in sales. This was the one where they were going to send. They know he's distracted with his move. Because he's in sales, they're going to send him an RFP, and it, of course, was infected with malware. So what are some things he's going to do? It sounds a lot like the 2 episodes ago. Verify the sender. If they've got that crystal plaque at the front desk, it probably doesn't even make it to his inbox to begin with, and then pick up the phone. So are you getting this recurring theme here? Verify. Just know that deception is their number one tool. So their attack failed this time. Give Dave a hand. Dave did great. All right, so we're setting you up to be the human firewall. And again, what that means is you're the first line of defense. If you remember back to that slide about the phishing attempts, 91% of all this stuff's coming through with phishing emails. 1 in 5 of you in your office, and you know who that person is going to click on these things. So you're empowering yourself and your people. Training is key there, so you got to get in that mindset of doing training. Adopt that zero trust philosophy, even as a mindset, not just a tool set. Never trust, always verify. And then stay vigilant, just stay aware, realizing, we talked about the cybersecurity deniers. Don't be a cybersecurity denier. Understand that anyone is a target. Okay, guys, congratulations. You've reached the end. You are now ultimate guardians, i.e. human firewalls. So let's all stand together, and we're going to take the ultimate guardian pledge. We're not getting married. It's okay. But this is going to get us in the mindset of walking out of here as cyber guardians protecting our IT galaxy. So let's say these 3 lines together. I pledge to protect my organization by being vigilant and proactive. I will empower my team to stand as a united human firewall. I commit to safeguarding our data, our people, and our mission. Congratulations, give yourself a hand. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, there's my info. Back to you, Dave.